are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 200 of the College Loop Podcast. I got so used to saying 100 after 100 other episodes, but now it is episode 200 of the College Loop Podcast. Of course, I am Dylan Larck, on Twitter. Here to talk to y'all today. Sorry, slipping all over my words to start off this episode. Here to talk to y'all today about the latest in Auburn athletics as we get ready to grade Auburn's transfer portal. Still have plenty of time to add some more guys, but as it stands right now, I'm pretty content with how the team looks. I don't know if there's plenty other needs that Auburn needs to really attack that they haven't already gotten. But before I do that, I will have a little bit of news coming out about a former Auburn Tiger in Cam Riley. Did transfer out of Auburn earlier on in the transfer portal cycle. I believe in the first window he transferred out. Joined Donovan Kaufman at NC State. Spring happened, left NC State, and now he is heading to the Florida State Seminoles. So huge ups to Cam Riley. I believe he kind of escalated in terms of a program and where they stand right now from NC State to FSU. So huge ups to Cam Riley, and hopefully he has a great career or a great end to his career at Florida State. But we'll go ahead and get started on grading each player Auburn has added in the portal thus far, currently standing in the rankings. I guess subject to change. Auburn's currently 28 in the country per 24/7 Sports, which is good for 12th in the SEC. Auburn didn't go as crazy in the portal this time around as they did last time and last year. But I don't think they needed to. I think Hugh Freeze has a pretty good understanding of how he wants to build his program, and he wants to use the transfer portal as a way of, how think of it like a movie. How a lot of great movies use practical effects and they use the CGI to enhance how those movies look. Well, transfer portal, it should be used as CGI for people who want to build a program, and Hugh Freeze is doing just that. And so starting off, I think it's just easy to start off with the heavy hitter right off the bat. Keandre Lambert-Smith, I'm grading as an A transfer portal addition for the Auburn Tigers. If you've heard me talk about Keandre Lambert-Smith, you know how highly I have talked about his addition into the Auburn athletics realm because he is just that good. That is just how good he is. I am so excited to watch how he performs alongside Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Robert Lewis. The list goes on and on and on. Malcolm Simmons, Bryce Kane. And I think that he's just such a good veteran guy to bring in alongside like Robert Lewis, who can really get this wide receiver group looking the part right away. And I'm just so excited to see how he does. And that kind of just brings me to my next one. Robert Lewis, I also grade as an A. I think for the three wide receivers that Auburn grabbed, I think that they definitely hit the best with these two guys and Robert Lewis and Keandre Lambert-Smith. That they mesh together so well. I think now you're going to see kind of a move to the inside with Robert. I think you're going to see him kind of play more of the slot role alongside, and then kind of be backed up by some of the freshmen coming up, like Bryce Kane, of course, Caleb Burton, who's going to be a sophomore this year, redshirt sophomore. So, we've seen pretty good highlights of Robert Lewis in an Auburn uniform. He had a very good A-Day. As well as like the rest of the wide receiver room did, as long as if only the offense could have scored some more points to really show that, because that's the key of the game is scoring points. Last wide receiver is Sam Jackson, the fifth. I have as a B. I didn't do the minuses and pluses until we get to like the overall grades. But overall, I didn't really see this as a huge pickup. I think he played pretty well. And I was very confused by it at first, and I think he's very athletic, and that's why it's a B, is just because of his athleticism alone. I think you're gonna have a lot of trick plays with him. I think you're gonna see a lot of kind of plays set around what he can do as an athlete, and you didn't really get to see a lot of them in the A-Day game, even though he was supposed to be in a non-contact jersey, whatever the yellow jersey means. I assumed it meant non-contact, but he was very much getting contacted by the defense. So it's a B right now. I just was very confused. It's kind of like I was just confused with the first part of it, and I think with the other additions, it kind of pushes it down a little bit. Which brings me to the last pass catcher I have on part of the offense in Rico Walker, who I also have listed as a B. Um, I thought it was, I think it's a good pickup for the fact that Auburn picked up a younger tight end to kind of back up and develop under some of the veteran guys like Rivaldo and Luke and Brandon. Um, I don't know how much playing time Rico gets in year one at Auburn. Excuse me. But I do think that he will get playing time in the future. But it also kind of rounds up the B because I think Auburn is doing, and Hugh Freeze doing such a good job of trying to get Ben Agamawa some great freshman guys. And of course, Ryan Gee is still committed. Hollis Davidson did decommit on Monday, I do believe. But I think they're kind of working towards building up the tight end room. And Rico Walker, I think, is going to be a leader once all these guys leave. I mean, Brandon Frazier and Luke Deal are both on. I think they're both tenured at Auburn at this point. And Valdo is definitely out after this year. I do believe he's going to go to the NFL draft. He's going to be one of the top tight ends in the NFL draft. So Rico, I think this grade will age poorly in the sense of it'll be a B now and then an A later on. But right now I have it as a B just because I don't think Rico really gets in all that much. I think he kind of picked up a guy who's a depth piece, but not a depth piece that'll get in, like a depth piece that'll emergency wise. I mean, if he does have a red shirt, I'm sure they'll probably try to find a way to get him on one. Just so he kind of sit back and enjoy the ride a little bit. But yeah, right now I have Rico Walker as a B, and of course I'm saying that because he was a 4-star for on 24/7. So I know it's gonna sound like a little weird that I'm saying that, but I just he's young, so it's a B. And I'm gonna get if I had to pick one, I was probably gonna flag for it. Probably this one, maybe. But yeah, a B just because he's a 4th string. That's pretty much it, and plenty of reason to believe that he will explode and prove me wrong. And I want him to prove. I would love it if they prove me wrong on some of these lists, but hopefully wrong in the sense of doing better than I than I graded them. And then last two guys we're going to talk about for the offensive side of the ball, the offensive lineman Auburn has added, starting off with Percy Lewis, who I've listed as an A. You pick up an all SEC caliber offensive lineman, you get an A. It's as simple as that. Percy Lewis is a big, big, big dude who, again, I think is just a great, great lineman for Auburn to have picked up for year two of Hugh Freeze era and really given Peyton Thorne a left tackle who he can really trust to be guarding his blind side. So I'm really excited to see what Percy Lewis can do. I thought he played very well in the 8A. I think he's done very well in spring. I do wish he would lose a little bit of weight. He is a very big, he's a very tall guard, not in the sense of what I wish Auburn basketball would get, but in the sense of he's a very tall guard in the sense he's a tackle who is round. But if he can move like he needs to, and he's not giving up sacks, he's not getting outran by the defense, I am okay with it. As long it kind of just depends on how he performs. And then the last offensive guy, the lowest grade for the offense is Ronan Chambers, the newest addition onto this Auburn team. I just thought this was, I think it's a good move in terms of depth. But you're picking up a guy late in the portal who isn't going to be part of the rotations. I think Auburn picked up a lot of younger guys who are going to be involved right away. I don't know how likely it is that Ronan gets in. He kind of he has this last year of eligibility. I think that we don't really get to see a lot of Ronan in during this year, and it doesn't make sense to me. I just see him as a guy who'd be behind like behind Jaden Muskrat kind of guy. I just didn't understand it, and I think that kind of brings down the grade a lot. Overall, the offense grades out of the B minus, and that's taken in just going off of 8s and 9s and 7s depending on that. Honestly, I probably could have graded Condre Leonard Smith as an A plus, but I just want to keep it as simple as possible with an A, because I didn't want to bring in the A pluses and minuses because that just makes it so complicated in terms of trying to rank these guys. But yeah, offense seems as a B, B minus. So I think that's a really, really good transfer portal class Auburn to bring in overall. I think you got a lot of needs that were met. And you got some depth that you're going to need going into this year, especially with probably more pass heavy attack than Auburn is used to expecting. So moving on to the defense, starting off with edge rusher position, I have Kieran Crawford currently at a B for me. This is just because it's another depth guy. I don't know how many more years availability Kieran has. I could be extremely wrong on. I'm sure that he has maybe 2 years at the most. A guy who's going to be backing up Jalen McLeod. And I honestly think that Kieran Crawford could be another guy, kind of like a Rico Walker, who Auburn picked up in the portal to build around further on in his career. And I'm just so excited to see how he kind of does whenever he does get in, coming from Arkansas State. He rounds out the B. If I had to do the plus minuses, it'd be a B plus. And that's because I think my mantra probably is like the A's. I probably reserved to guys who I think are going to start right away. But yeah, so Jalen McLeod's going to be the starting edge rusher as far as I'm aware. But Kieran Crawford's going to be a great guy to kind of be the intermediary guy between the veteran in McLeod and the true freshman and like Amaris Williams and Demonta Waller. So right now I have Kieran Crawford as a B. Also coming in as a B is Isaiah Rakes, the defensive tackle from Texas A&M. Technically it says USC, but he spent like 2 months in USC, so he came from Texas A&M. Another big boy defensive lineman. I think that the more I think about it, the more I see how this could also be an A, and how Trill Carter later on, he's not an A, but he could be an A. I would kind of do some digging around. I think that this is a way to get another nose tackle involved and getting a guy who can maybe give Jason Jones a breather. I still very much believe Jason Jones will be the starting nose tackle for the Auburn Tigers, and some people don't really agree with me on that. But I think Rakes was a great pickup. I think he just the size he has. He's 6'1", 313. He is just a big body dude. He is just really, really dominant when it comes to getting holes covered, just like a nose tackle should do. Hence why he's been so adamant on words. Coaches have been so adamant on trying to recruit Rakes, and that's why USC wanted him. They were trying to rebuild their defensive scheme overall over there in Southern California. And so Auburn picked him up, and that's kind of brings me to the nice guy, Trill Carter, another guy that Auburn picked up in the first spring cycle. Got in at 8A, had a very decent 8A, plugged up holes, plugged up gaps very well. 295, 6'1". I think that this guy, it's going to be a weird thing watching the defensive lineman come in, because I don't know if Auburn's going to have a true nose tackle because of all the defensive linemen they picked up, and kind of be switching around. Maybe put Jason Jones at DT, maybe put Trill Carter at DT. A guy I'm going to mention in a little bit is also be playing a lot of DT. It's nice seeing Auburn pick up the depth necessary. I think that the B kind of comes to the fact that I think Auburn picked up a very talented defensive lineman, Malik Blockton, and I don't get to see him right away because he's going to be in the like a little further down on the depth chart. So right now, Isaiah Rakes, Trill Carter are Bs. The lowest defensive lineman I have right now is Gage Keys, coming in at a C. Gage Keys coming all the way from Kansas. I think that Auburn picked up better defensive linemen. And Gage is a huge guy, 6'5", 290. I think right now you could possibly see him play more of the defensive end route just to give Keldrick a guy to get behind. Not the words are hard. Give a guy to sit behind Keldrick. Again, another guy you can put in between some of the veteran guys, and of course, Amaris Williams and Demonta Waller, who are probably going to be very heavily involved in the rotations. But you don't really want to throw two freshmen in right away. That's kind of how I feel about things. You don't want to throw an 18-year-old into the college realm right away unless he's just that different, which Amaris Williams and Demonta Waller very much are. It's just kind of how I feel about on the defensive end side of the ball, because it's just meeting with those big uglies up front all the time. But Gage Keys, I kind of have a C. I think that you didn't really picked up a guy that you kind of saw as a second in the rotation. And then you immediately turned around and picked up two other guys who are going to go up right above Keys in the depth chart. So right now he's a C because of the other additions that Auburn made. because just got pushed down the depth chart. So I appreciate getting the depth. I mean, the C is not going to be like detrimental. I'm not saying I hate it or whatever. But it's just you picked up a guy who's not going to be in the rotation very long. He's going to be a guy who kind of gets in when the second string and the first string are both tired. That's just kind of how I feel right now about Gage Keys. And then bring in back to another guy who I'm very high on, Philip Bleedy. I have him as an A because I think you have a definite starter in Bleedy going into as a defensive tackle. 6'3", 295 out of Indiana. I love everything I've seen out of Bleedy's tape. I think that Auburn really hit a home run getting Bleedy. And I just love that I finally know how to say his last name. Thank you, Mr. Ike Jones from the War Report. I think that he overall is the best defensive lineman Auburn picked up in the portal. And I'm not saying that just because he's coming from the Big Ten. I'm saying that because overall he's just faster. He is stronger. He is able to plug gaps as well as get tackles in open space. I was very happy that Auburn was able to get Bleedy because I just think that he just is everything Auburn wants. I think out of the guys out of the transfer portal defensive linemen who could offer the most, I guess, Marcus Harris level impact into the defense would be Philip Bleedy. So that's why he kind of stands at an A. And moving back to a level of the defense, the linebacker position, I have Dorian Mousey Jr., who currently stands at a B for me, strictly because he's another depth piece and getting a guy who can get up behind Austin Keys and Eugene Asante, whichever one. Currently stands at a B just because he's a depth piece. Again, I've reserved A's for guys who are immediate starters without a doubt. So I like Dorian Mousey's tape. I think whenever Austin Keys gets out or Eugene Asante, whichever one he is going to be backing, whether it's the Mike or the Will, he does not miss tackles in open space. That is my favorite thing about Dorian Mousey is the fact that a lot of his tackles happen in open grass, in open turf, whichever one they're playing on. Mostly grass in the SEC. He was so good at Duke. There's a reason why he was so heavily recruited, and I think just the fact that he came to Auburn to be kind of just a rotation guy. Of course, he's next in the rotation. He's like right behind the starters. And I think Auburn hit the jackpot in the sense of a guy who won't miss tackles in open space. I mean, there's a lot of athletic guys in the SEC. Auburn's going to have to meet a lot of those guys. One being Luther Burton in Columbia, Missouri, in the middle of the season. So very interested to see how that all plays out later on. But yeah, Dorian Mousey currently stands at a B for me. And of course, if I did updated grades at the end of the season, I definitely could see him moving up to that A range. Just because I just need to see them. I just need to see more film. And then rounding out with the secondary, starting off with Antonio Kite currently have as a B. You got another guy who's going to be a rotation, going to be, I believe, second up in the rotation. It kind of depends. Auburn lost a lot of guys in the portal from the secondary. And you got some guys that you don't want to see right away as freshmen, like Amon Lane and Jalen Crawford, who I think are going to be very, very good. You got to have that year of development, really. Before you can just get thrown to the Sharks. So I think he offers a nice mediary target between Keontae Scott and of course Jalen Crawford. So I like it in the sense of getting a guy who's a depth. Auburn is known for losing recruits in the secondary just because of how deep the secondary does in fact go. So right now I just stand at a B. And then the last transfer that I have listed, as I misclicked, Jaron Thompson, I have listed as an A. And if another guy who I could give an A plus to would be Jaron Thompson. I mean, the guy first official game in quotes that he played in an Auburn uniform, he got MVP of that game. He is just going to be the leader of this defense alongside Eugene Asante and Austin Keys, and he's just been that good since he's gotten onto the Plains. So he currently says an A for me. I think Jaron Thompson's going to be very, very good. I'm glad to see the Auburn's safety court isn't really going to skip a beat from Jalen Simpson to Jaron Thompson. I will say Jalen Simpson does have a better way of tracking the ball in the air, but Jaron Thompson is a way better of is much better of a tackler than Jalen Simpson is. That kind of rounds out my defensive grade to B minus, which does make the team grade a B minus. I think that Auburn hit on every single position of need that needed either depth or a starter. Um, and of course, they didn't go as crazy as last year. That's just what you want. Again, that's what I want to see in a program. I mean, I don't know very much, but that's what you want to see in a program that is wanting to build through the high school realm and develop players for 3 to 4 years. And I think out of the guys, I mean, I gave 2 C's just because I don't think they're going to be guys who are going to be high up in the rotation, but everyone else was a B or higher, and those really showed out as the season goes, and they did very well in the spring. The guys who got here first, and I can't wait to see how the guys who got here late do. Kendra Lambert Smith is going to be a guy I'm going to be keeping my eyes on throughout the summer and the fall. And then especially going to be a guy that I'll be watching whenever Auburn starts playing on August 31st against Alabama A&M. But yeah, let me know how you grade Auburn's transfer portal cycle. Of course, it's still going on. It's plenty of time for it to get better than it is right now. So leave your thoughts below. Leave your grades for every player. Who's the best transfer Auburn picked up? Who I'm not gonna ask you who the worst is, but who's the best? But yeah, I'm just gonna move on. And before we get started on moving on to Diamond Sports, going to let y'all know that if you're watching the show, thank you for tuning in to the College Loop, whether it is on the podcast or on YouTube. And I just want to let you know that if you are listening on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe again, and leave your thoughts for the transfer portal. Don't just make it a one-man conversation. This is built for the loopers as well to get involved. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know that if you've already liked, comment, and subscribed and gave us 5-star ratings on the podcast version of the show, there are other ways you can support the show as well. And I have a little commercial for y'all. If you didn't see it on the last one, you're going to see it here. Here it is, my commercial for our wonderful, lovely TCL merch. Again, $25 in WordPour shop. If you want to go ahead, just go do it before the commercial plays. You can go do that. They're $25 each. So go get it. And I know some people, I watched on my family, like, oh, you made it seem like they're $25 like to come together. No, $25 each. $50 total. Worth it. So worth it. Cannot think of a better reason to spend $50. But here's the commercial for y'all right here. Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program. Auburn Diamond Sports. I'm gonna start with softball. It's gonna hurt me. It is. I stayed up for all 14 innings of this softball game. Auburn, of course, played Georgia in the SEC tournament, top 15 team in Georgia. High-powered offense that the Bulldogs came in. I was very worried about how Auburn was going to perform, as well as I was very confident that they were going to win. And they had every opportunity to do so. Auburn scored in the first inning. Georgia answered back with 2. Auburn then scored in the 3, and then holy crap, nothing happened from inning 4 to inning 13. This game went on for over 4 hours. If you were unaware, maybe it went on for just exactly 4, but it went on for around 4 hours, which is ridiculous for a softball game. And not even the first time it happened yesterday. There was 2 games that went to 14 innings. Both involved teams in the state of Alabama. Both involved those teams losing. Alabama, of course, was in LSU. A team that I was very excited for Auburn to play later on in the tournament, just to add some salt in the wound and get a nice little another win on them. But man, I don't even want to talk about this around the 14th inning because I'm so butthurt about what happened. It just so annoying. Auburn finally started to get on base. Auburn finally had 2 runners get on base. KK McCrary steps up and just knocks the absolute crap out of the ball. 3-run homer to put Auburn up 5-2 in the top of the 14th, and then the next batter gets out. I can't remember who exactly it was, but then in walks Georgia. 2 errors, or at least I don't know if they're actually counted as errors, but I'm gonna count them as errors because it just did that to me. Get Georgia on first and second base. Then their right fielder steps up, hits a 3-run bomb, ties it at 5. I was thinking that Auburn was gonna have to go into a 15th inning, which A would be a record, B would make me want to, I don't know. But to no surprise, in true Auburn fashion, right after that, Georgia hits a walk-off home run to knock Auburn out of the SEC tournament. And we'll all be watching the SEC tournament from the comfort of Jamie Moore Field, which is sort of embarrassing that Auburn technically the first round exit of that. But it just sucks. They had every reason. They were given ample opportunities to win. Maddie Penta and Shelby Lowe just absolutely played their hearts out. They looked amazing throughout the entirety of the game. It just all came down to that 14th inning. But 4 through 13, Auburn did not score a single run. I don't even know if Auburn got a hit in those innings. It was just so bad that just nothing was going right. I mean, you had Michaela Packer outrunning second base. You had several drop catches that weren't even that should be counted as errors. I don't know if they are counted as errors. It's just so annoying to watch an Auburn team given opportunities to win and just kind of fall through. And again, I'm not blaming this at all on Maddie Penta or Shelby Lowe. I think they played great for 4 hours of softball. Maddie Penta threw 163 pitches and Shelby Lowe threw 76, and they combined for 10 strikeouts. It's just so annoying. They had 14 or math 13.2 innings pitched to combine for those two. I'm just it just hurts my heart. I was left speechless by this game. I just don't know what else I can possibly say about it. It hurt me. There's been so many games. This has been a very horrific athletic year outside of golf, who's about to get ready to play in their regional. Women's golf did play in their regional, and they won their regional. Women's golf is going to be heading to the ACLA championship in beautiful California. But softball wise, baseball wise, football, the ending of the basketball season. Women's basketball made it to the NCAA tournament, so huge ups to them. But like football and men's basketball and baseball and softball, it has just been so rough. Gymnastics had a couple of stretches where it was very rough for them as well. They did not win a lot of meets, but they still performed very well and got to the postseason. But yeah, this is going to add salt in the wound for me. It just hurts so much. But in lighter news, if you're an old school Auburn fan, you hate Georgia Tech. They did in baseball, switching over to baseball, they did in fact sweep Georgia Tech on the year in their home and home this season. After 2 innings, or after 3 innings, Georgia Tech was up 2-0, and then Cade Bellew just went on a tear. He had a sac fly that got Ike Irish over home plate. Guerva hit a home run in the 5th inning. Cooper Weiss hit a home run in the 5th inning. Caden Green, off of an error, got Ike Irish to third base, got Chris Stanfield to score. Sorry, I was skipping over things. And then K. Bellew in the 9th inning, just when you thought it was over, K. Bellew hit a home run, which was a 3 RBI homer by that matter. Gave Auburn the 7-2 win. Just a massive confidence builder for this team, and one that they desperately need, especially as they get ready to play Missouri on Friday through Saturday. Missouri, not really a team that is. I mean, I say this getting ready to be absolutely clowned by the fact that Missouri just might absolutely just swamp Auburn, just because that's how it's going. Auburn will be traveling up to beautiful Columbia. And Missouri currently bolstering a 21-28 record to 7-17 in the SEC, which SEC wise better than Auburn. Auburn is currently 4-20 in the SEC with a 23-24 record, which better than Missouri by proxy, not by much, 0.06 by that matter. I want to say that Auburn is due for a series win. It just feels like they should be. Missouri currently batting 253 as a team, and currently averages a 5.61 ERA. It just kind of, you have to go into the Missouri series the same confidence level that you win against Georgia Tech and the last game against Ole Miss. Because I mean, holy crap! It piling on with softball. I don't see how they have not won at least one series. It has been so annoying and a little embarrassing to be an Auburn fan, Auburn baseball fan, to see them not get a series win. And I mean, I am not going to be like anyone that doesn't understand how good of a job Butch Thompson is and how great of a coach he is, and just the program that he has built for Auburn. There's got to be some changes made in the staff, because you get wins like that in the midweek, and then you just get nothing in the weekends. Auburn is going to have every opportunity to beat Missouri this weekend. Auburn is going to have. I think that this is finally the series where they get at least 2 wins. That's all I'm asking for is 2 wins. And get at least one SEC series ahead of the last stretch of the season next week. The regular season. Auburn's going to need a miracle if they want to play in the postseason. I don't know if they've already been eliminated or not. They very well could be. They would need to have an absolute bonkers end to the year. And I mean, beating Missouri, beating Stanford, beating Alabama, and then making a huge run in the SEC tournament just to even like be there at the end. And then, holy crap, whenever the season ends, you better get some NIL deals and keep some guys around that Auburn's going to need next year. Hopefully the new pitching coach. Auburn is just so due for an SEC series win. I think it's just so sad they've not gotten it yet. So I think they're going to get it this weekend. If not, I'm never going to predict it again, at least for this season. They're due. Missouri is not that great of a team. Auburn has the offensive firepower to get in games and score a lot of runs. It just comes down to just don't let them stay in the game. They're batting a 2.59. Let's see, pull that back up. They've had 49 home runs in a year, which is really pretty low in terms of where Auburn is. I just cannot say it anymore. This is a series Auburn should win. I have said that so many times this year, and I've gotten embarrassed multiple times. I think Auburn gets the win. I think they at least get 2. Hopefully ride confidence high until the end of the season as a whole, not the regular season. Keep riding high throughout the remainder of their season. As far as I'm aware, they're not currently put up to be in a regional. I know I know the softball is. Softball Selection Sunday, we'll have a reaction to that. Kind of see where they play. Hopefully, fingers crossed, not Clemson for softball, but I don't think baseball is going to be in the NCAA tournament for baseball. But yeah, that does it for this episode of the College Loop Podcast. Of course, I'm Dylan Larck, on Twitter, and of course on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck at DYLNLARCK. And of course, you can find me right here on the College Loop, which you like, comment, subscribe. Leave your grades for Auburn transfer portal acquisitions, as well as leave your predictions for Auburn and softball. Where do you think the regional is going to be? Where do you think Auburn baseball is going to do this weekend versus Missouri? So on and so forth. And of course, make sure to leave a like as well and subscribe. We're getting so close to 800 subscribers. So go ahead, let's get us there. And of course, you have some social medias as well on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. That works. Always at the College Loop. Don't forget, Sunday is the live stream, and we'll be right back here on Sunday to talk about. I think I'm going to be ranking the SEC quarterbacks, as well as look at discussion about why Auburn should be switching up their uniforms a little bit with Nike coming along. So just stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you all there. Leave some comments. Leave your thoughts on Auburn's uniforms. I think Auburn should bring back the drop shadow and orange jerseys, and I've been ridiculed for that all the time. But of course, with all that being said, War Eagle, and this, of course, has been the College Loop Podcast.